Have you ever been lucky enough for someone to have gifted you a whole bunch of buttons? Or have you ever found a big jar of buttons at a thrift store? Well, recently, my mother-in-law gifted me all these beautiful buttons. Now, I washed them and cleaned them and sorted them and then stored them away because I had no idea what I would do with them. But then I was like, wait, hold up. I have a crafting bucket list, and I used them for one of those projects. I also have a stash of items that I wanted to repurpose, and this little giraffe picture was one of those things. So don't hate me for painting over his sweet little face, but I needed this framed board to complete my project. Now I painted it all red, a Christmassy red, but that looked so harsh that I ended up painting some gold over it. Then I took a pattern of a tree and I outlined it onto the board so I would have an idea of where I wanted to glue my buttons down. So then I carefully glued all the buttons down in the shape of a tree using E6000, one of my favorite glues. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my project in this next video.
So, good morning. It's morning right now. I have my cup of coffee. I haven't even done a thing. I just got out of bed and started back on this project that I started late last night. So a couple of things I want to share with you. Well, first of all, I hope you're lucky enough to find a big jar of buttons. And if you do, chances are those buttons, some of them are still gonna have some thread on them, like that. And so when you start this project, go ahead and get your seam ripper nearby so you can quickly remove the thread from your button, because you don't want that thread. Number one, it can look messy. Number two, it might raise your button up too much if you want it to lay flatter on your canvas or board. So like that one's a little tougher. They really sewed that one on. Okay, so now there's no thread. So get your seam ripper. That's a seam ripper if you don't know, because some people out there don't sew. They don't know. You can get one Walmart, sewing department, Hobby Lobby, and just rip that thread. All right, so the second tip I have, I went ahead and laid everything down on the edges. I'm working my way up. I can tell you, I'm not a good puzzle person. This is not as bad as a puzzle. But you do kind of want to work your sizes to where you don't have a lot of gaps. And you can follow the outline of your design. So this one, these aren't glued down yet. I'm working on my little line right here. So I'm just gluing them down. My second tip is I'm using E6000. Now you can use hot glue, but I feel like this E6000 is one of my favorite glues, and I think it will give the best results in the buttons actually staying on. Sometimes hot glue will pop off or it gets lumpy, and I want a flat, as flat as they can be on the surface of the board. This board, as I stated earlier, was another picture. I just painted over it. You can use a canvas. You can use a piece of board. Anything you want. Go ahead and paint your background. Draw your design out and then start gluing your buttons on. I'm going to continue to glue my buttons, and I want it completely covered in white. And then I'm going to go on and I've got some metal buttons, and I might use some of these red ones. I'm not sure, to put them on top like ornaments. So I'll just go through that process with you guys really quickly.
So I want to share something with you guys. One of my dearest friends gave me a little sign that states, "Our friendship isn't a big thing, it's a million little things." I see this sign every morning when I sit down with the Lord because it's on my desk. Over the last several months, the Lord has been calling me to discover a true friendship with Him. You see, I've been seeking the Lord's will, and I felt this anticipation of some big new thing He's been preparing me for. So I begged and pleaded to hear what this big thing was. Perhaps weary from my current situation, I've been dreaming and longing for a big new thing. But all the while, the Lord has been speaking and working. He's saying, keep at it where you are. Keep sowing the seeds, as you do not know which will take root and grow. Be content in me right where you are. Focus on the abundance I provide for you and not what you see as lack.
Okie dokie. But this is how it has turned out so far. Now, if your OCD is killing you when you do this project, you're going to have little gaps. Do not let that bother you. You're going to have to give that one to the Lord because they're going to be there. They're just part of the creative process, and it's okay. That's why you painted this beautiful background.
Now back to that little sign. The Lord used that little sign to speak to me. He said, perhaps it's not a big thing, but a million little things that I've called you to do.
So one thing that you can do is you can go back in some of them and add what I'm calling ornaments. So you can layer them on top and cover some of those little holes if you like.
So just like my friendship with the Lord is a big thing, it's a really big thing. It's also compiled of a million little things, a million little lessons, a million little hugs, a million little kisses from heaven, and a million moments that swirl together to show me His big love for me. And He has that same big love for you. So my friend, if you are stuck in the waiting, I encourage you to look for all the million little things and be thankful for all those million little things that the Lord gives us to show His big love. So here it is, all finished with the bow on top. My bucket list button craft project. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will like and subscribe so that you can see the next one.